You are about to see the story of 4 Holocaust survivors: Henry Kronberg, Sabina Wagschal Callwood, Stephen Nasser, and Alex Kuechel. What is remarkable about these stories is that they are 75 years after liberation. They are the stories of the worst in life and years of happiness, fulfilling, exciting lives filled with love. These survivors want to give you a message of hope and to tell you that racism, hate did not stop with the Holocaust. We must all be in this together to fight what is the worst in humanity and to celebrate what is the best. Each Holocaust story is different, and yet in these 4 stories, we have the story of concentration camps, deportation camps, labor camps, execution of a baby. We have ghettos for children, we have hidden children, resistance, we have different parts of Europe, we have Kristallnacht, and so forth. The messaging is, while the stories are different, each of these survivors wants to tell us how they survived, who helped them. Many will say it was luck, luck, luck. But also there are those that they want to thank. They want to leave you with a message of celebration of life, of love, and of compassion. We are stronger together. At this point, I must thank the UNLV Dance Department, the College of Fine Arts, and the College of Liberal Arts that helped make this amazing project possible. Nancy Esser, Dean of the College of Fine Arts, Shahab Zargari, the videographer, Louis Kavoris, Chair of the Dance Department, Kathy Allen, Professor of Dance. All of us came together to make this possible. I interviewed the 4 survivors February of 2020. Here are their stories through dance.
My name is Henry Kronberg. I'm a Holocaust survivor and I'm 100 years old.
Sabina Wagschal Callwood. My Holocaust darkness began when the Germans came with the Belgian police in 1942.
My name is Stephen Nasser. I'm a Holocaust survivor. I'm very lucky to be alive. Unfortunately, the Nazis have massacred 11 million civilians, 6 million Jews, 5 million non-Jews.
My name is Alexander Kuechel. I was born in Berlin, Germany. I'm 96 years old. I'm a survivor of 7 concentration camps. I was 9 years old when things started to change. The Jewish people, including my parents, thought I would pass by. They laughed it off, as a matter of fact.
Before the war, the entire family slept in one room. My father was an excellent diamond cutter, but always got shortchanged at work.
Before the war, I lived in a city right on the border of Poland and Germany.
In the 1940s, life for us Jews were getting very harsh in Budapest, Hungary, where I lived. I grew up in our family home on Arpad Street 42. I remember a loving family life which is engraved in my memory.
Nobody in their right mind could think that could happen. Nobody could imagine he would take people into the gas chamber. We only learned later that people went to a concentration camp and never came back. Most of the people did not read Mein Kampf. The people who knew someone in the government learned that if you were Jewish, you better leave. Something is going to happen. Then many people left. They took their furniture, money. November 9th, 1938 came Kristallnacht. We were in Berlin, where they did not pick up whole families. As a matter of fact, I remember like today, my neighbor came and knocked on our door and said, "Don't go on the street tomorrow, something very terrible is going to happen." My father was picked up because he was Polish and sent to Poland. But Poland did not take Jewish people in. Those sent to Poland were in no man's land for a long time. I had a sister who was 3 years older. My sister and her fiancé later got married and had a son in Belgium. They all perished in Auschwitz, which we found out later on. They had tried to go to Switzerland illegally, but Switzerland had told the German government to put on every passport of a Jew a word Jude. Germany put Sarah. For Jewish men, Israel. They were turned away from Switzerland, went to Belgium illegally.
My Holocaust darkness began when the Germans came with the Belgian police in 1942. I heard boots banging up the stairs of our apartment building. They hollered, "Raus!" They took my father away in the middle of the night to a work camp named Gers, France. The Germans created temporary sanctuaries in the form of ghetto orphanages for children they wanted to deport to the concentration camps.
When the war broke out, my sister and my mother went to that place where we decided to move, and my father and I supposed to follow a couple of days later. Unfortunately, we never were able to do it. From our city, we went to Krakow. In Krakow, I was in prison in that over 2 years. After the prison, when the Russians were coming closer towards Krakow, buses, instead of letting us go and free us, no. 3 hours before the Russians walked into Krakow, they packed us in coal cars and sent us to concentration camp.
We lived 25 kilometers from Auschwitz. My mother had relatives there. In Krzanów or Krenów, we saw people hung for no reason at all. Eventually, the town of Krzanów or Krenów was liquidated, which we found out later on after the war, and the Jews were taken to Auschwitz, and so my parents also lost their life there. In 1942, at Wannsee Conference, agreement in Berlin, the SS decided on the final solution. The goal was to kill the Jewish people. After the German army or Wehrmacht captured territory, the SS took over. In Poland and Russia, the Sonderkommando brutally went to eliminate all Jewish people, including many Poles and Catholics and Gypsies also. Then in 1942, I was picked up to be taken to the first of 7 concentration camps. Many of our sick people were sent to Gross-Rosen. We did not know about the gas chambers at all. People went and never came back. When someone would come from another camp who they thought might have typhoid, they shot them. They took them in the bathroom, gave them hot and cold shower, so they get a heart attack, and then shot them. We had to come into the bathroom and clean up the blood. At 3 a.m., we had to stand in line for roll call. And somebody was missing, they took other people out and shot them. People asked me if anybody ever escaped from a concentration camp. It was impossible. They were in enemy territory. They didn't speak the language. It was not possible at all. When you came to a concentration camp, you did not exist any longer. You became a ghost. They took your name, shaved your head, and all the memories from the past were taken away from you.
The day before my brothers, Sam and Jack, and I arrived at the first Gestapo orphanage home, I was almost 7 years old. 60 children were taken that day to the death camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau. One day in 1943, the Gestapo came into the orphanage and they wanted to take my 2 brothers and me on a schedule to Auschwitz. Madame Rothschild, directress of the orphanage, argued with them not to take us children because she remembered silently my mother was in the hospital. It worked. She saved our lives. While all this was happening, my mother continued to suffer from Crohn's disease and was bedridden in a hospital. She had 5 attacks. Somebody reported her. The Gestapo came to her bedside and took her to Auschwitz in a sick condition. In 1943, a Nazi commander in Antwerp issued a decree that Antwerp must be Judenfrei, Jewish-free, by September. My brothers were sent to different Gestapo orphanages. The children were frightened. We cannot forget the sounds. Then I was sent to Gestapo orphanage home number 2. Here you never knew when they would take you to the concentration camp.
I went through a 1-week transport on an open coal car in a rain sleet without food and without water. 85% of the people who were on that train died. My sheer luck, or whatever it was, I survived.
My father passed away from an illness he had gotten while serving in World War I as an Army cavalry officer. We shed many tears over his death. I realized God was kind by taking him away because he did not have to suffer through the Holocaust. The Nazis took us to a brick factory in Budefok. Here I witnessed my uncle Dejer as he was shot in cold blood by the Nazi. This was the beginning of a horrible life to follow in 1944. Soon a train with many cattle cars arrived and took all of us to Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. My mother, brother, aunt, and her toddler baby and I had to line up for inspection. We got to the selection to be separated in front of my eyes. The baby was ripped from her mother's arms and both mother and child were massacred. Within a couple of days, my brother and I got shipped out from Birkenau to Mühldorf hard labor camp, never to see mother or other relatives again. That is where we spent a year. In Mühldorf, we were forced to build a huge underground factory. We had to carry heavy cement paper bags for the construction. I collected some empty cement bags and secretly wrote my diary with the help of my brother Andres. Every minute of our daily life was a fight for survival. Beating, hunger, extreme weather killed hundreds of us. We had no medical attention. I licked my wounds like wild animals for survival. I could not wait until my night's sleep when my dreams were real to me. I was back with my loved ones. In the morning, we awakened to a nightmare again. Andris was getting weaker by the minute. I tried to encourage him to stay alive. At that time, he said to me, "Pista, I feel it in my blood. I will join Mom, Dad above and have to leave you. If you like us to be happy up there, try to keep a smile on your face. Looking down at you will keep us happy." I just embraced him, tears running down my cheek. I promised him that smile. On March 30th, 1945, sadly, Andris died in my arms 1 month before liberation.
The official date of war ended May 8, 1945, my 9th year of birth.
We were liberated by American troops. We were liberated by Patton troops.
In 1945, returned to Budapest. I stayed with my Aunt Monty and Uncle Bela. Luckily, I found them alive. They were saved by Raoul Wallenberg. He's responsible for saving approximately 24,000 Jews in Budapest. Returned to school, losing 1 year. During that period, met a lovely girl named Vera. She encouraged me to maintain my good attitude and helped me back to normal life. I was able to keep the smile on my face. I promised to my brother Andris. In 1948, the Canadian Jewish Congress arranged for me and 11 orphans to go to Canada. At that time, I was 16. Eventually, I got married and I had 2 children, Daryl and Michelle. Hard work paid off. I was never unemployed. I bought a house where I raised my family. I wrote Journey to Freedom. I also wrote a play, Not Yet Pista. The title originated during liberation, when I was in a coma, hallucinating and talking to my brother Andris. The doctor said I was speaking out loud. I explained. I dreamed I was in heaven, talking to my brother Andris, saying, "I want to stay with you. It's so beautiful here." He said, "Not yet, Pista." Became the name of my play. The play has been on stage in Las Vegas, Kentucky, and Utah.
Each time I even think about forgiveness, my blood boils. How can you forgive the Nazis? I forgive the Nazis? Never, never in a million years. And no judge and jury should forgive the Nazis for their atrocity, what they did to the Jews. On the other point, I can't blame the children of the Nazis. I can't blame the grandchildren for the Nazis. I can't blame the great-grandchildren of the Nazis because they were not even born when they happened. When I came to the United States, I want to start my new life. And I want to forget all about my past. I didn't want that my past should bother me. I did have nightmares. I had dreams of my past, but I want to forget about it. A lot of people ask me about my experiences. I never want to talk about it until the movie of Schindler's List came out. When the movie of Schindler's List came out, and I saw it, and actually that was part of my life. I was in Krakow ghetto, and I worked on the Gestapo headquarters, which the Gestapo were in charge of Schindler's. When I saw that movie, I realized that I have to open up my mouth, because if the people who went through wouldn't speak up, there's always somebody who said that never happened. So that's the reason I open up my mouth and I start speaking about it. And I hope that the future generation will remember about it.
After the war was over, I saw my first movie at age 9, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We reunited as a family in late summer 1945. Be true to thyself. Look forward to light. Never go into darkness. Material things are only temporary. They are not the most important element of your life. The relationship with those that you choose to be with is the most important. I forgave the Nazis, even though they tore a chunk of my soul.
Some people, they live with their past. I adapted to America. I thought positive all the time. When I talk to children, I say, everybody in this class has a brain, can accomplish something. Don't let anybody ever tell you you cannot do something. If you have the willpower, you can accomplish things. If you have a problem, you solve the problem. Friedrich the Great from Germany said, everybody should live their life in their own fashion. I'm thankful for the United States of America, and I'm proud to be an American citizen.
I learned the hard way how to appreciate freedom and family. I have lost both. As a Holocaust survivor, I feel blessed to be alive and share the positive thoughts that I brought with me from living hell. These thoughts I call attitude. My attitude taught me love is stronger than hate. Anger can destroy you. Appreciate what you have. Respect yourself, and others will respect you too. God bless you all, and have a great life.